Thank you, Houston. I think you all can see why we're all so very, very pleased to be working directly with Houston Davis. One of the things that we have all discussed, and this is not news for all of you, is that we need to rethink the definition of traditional student. So as we work both on campuses and certainly externally, there's sort of this image of what a traditional student is, except as you all know very, very well, only about 25% of the students system-wide fit the mold of being what used to be called a traditional student, primarily being supported in college and living in residence halls. The majority of our students have major work and life commitments that really impact their ability to complete in 4 years. And so thinking about that notion of traditional, and it certainly fits the mold of adult learners. The other thing that enters into this, and we've got bachelor degree graduation rates up here in 6 years, and you can look at that data. By the way, the slides here are available for you, as I think you all know. These are, you'll have them both for the conference, and they're available on the Completion Lab website. One of the things that's really emerging too is this notion of customization, and both adults and our 18-year-old students are really getting used to things being customized. I read the other day that while those of us that maybe enjoy getting on Amazon, you know, we're all used to finding ads that, you know, every once in a while I'm thinking, okay, well, how did they know that I just bought a book for one of my genius grandsons, you know, because the books keep popping up. But increasingly, I read an article the other day that banks also know, just by the way you're clicking on your bank, you know, your banking, when you might be thinking about leaving a particular bank because of the way the data and your clicks. It calls us to think about how we're doing higher ed and that level of customization. So it's as true for younger students as it is for those of us adults, and so thinking about the impact of that. I know that many of you in this room are very much aware that completion plans for Complete College America that are moving on to the governor's office are due July 1st. Those plans focus on 5 main areas: college and career readiness, access, pathways, student support and learning, and then, of course, data, metrics, and analytics as being the core that ties all of that work together. And many of these areas, and I know, I'm just knowing faces in the room, a lot of you were at the summit this spring, so you're familiar with a lot of those. But clearly part of the solution is in the pipeline, college and career readiness with K-12. We're working very, very closely, of course, with the Department of Education, and they're very serious about students leaving college and career ready. Things like AP, IB, Common Core, the PARCC assessments, dual enrollment, there are lots and lots of strategies going on at the K-12 level to prepare students to enter college and career ready. Access, of course, Georgia College 411, financial aid support, Apply to College Month, near-peer mentoring. The work that you're doing there has huge impact on what's going on. In Pathways, many of you are working at fundamentally transforming remediation, and a huge shout out to all of you that are looking seriously at how to deliver remediation in ways that really focus on student support moving through remediation. The articulation agreements that were just developed with the technical college system, G-Tracks, the Adult Learning Consortium, support for military learners, all that fits into that pathway category. And finally, student support and learning, new modes of teaching, using distance learning, new technologies, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot going on here. Again, this box over at the side with analytics, there's so much potential. We're all learning together in that. But at the end of the day, how do we use analytics? And a lot of you are engaged in some really very interesting work in using data effectively to track students and project out in new and different ways. Through it all, we cannot stress enough that this is about quality. I think that in every meeting, everybody engaged in this work has stressed the importance of quality. You can indeed have completion with quality. Those two are not oxymorons. So we have stressed that throughout and will continue to stress it, and truly depend on the work of all of you on the campuses to ensure that that continues to be the case. Just a capture of recent events associated with Complete College Georgia. There was a launch event for the presidents hosted by Governor Deal in February. That was led, we had Jim Applegate from Lumina and Stan Jones from Complete College Georgia as speakers. I would stress to you that Jim Applegate, those of you that know the work of the Lumina Foundation, know that adult learners were a key message at that event to the presidents. There was a metrics group led by the institutions, and those recommendations are out and available and being acted on. And there's a link between that and the Higher Ed Funding Commission, so that work is moving forward. In terms of campus completion and implementation, of course, the guidelines have been distributed, and there was a major summit at the Georgia Center. There's ongoing technical support. We've been offering webinars just, I think, on almost an every other week basis. And the campus completion lab is up and running. Really encourage you to be sure and have an account on the completion lab. We're getting back, when questions are posted, we're turning those around within 48 hours. So that's an active resource. We're putting information up on the completion lab for you. So please avail yourselves of the completion lab. The plans are due July 1. We have review teams in place, so you will be getting feedback on your plans by August 1st. Then you'll have the month of August. If there are changes that you want to make before submitting back to us, we'll be submitting then to the governor's office at the end of July or August 1st. So September 1st. So that's basically the timeline on the completion plans. And then, of course, next year we will be providing ongoing support. And we'll be circling back based on the plans. That development will be largely led by what we see in the plans. We know clearly based on your feedback that there's a need for a lot of support around data and metrics and analytics. We're aware of that and building that out as we speak. So we've heard you on that, and so designing support around that already. And so we would be very welcome. Trish suggested that we allow for a lot of time for questions at the end, so we really wanted to do that. So questions, comments, thoughts. And Trish said y'all would interact. So we ran through that pretty fast, but all right. Thank you. We very, very much look forward to getting your plans, and thank you for all you're doing to make this a reality. Thank you.